Greetings, Chris here. So you should have already heard some sounds from my guitar, my Suhr Standard, and I just wanted to talk a little bit about why I got this guitar, what makes it so awesome for me. I guess the best way to start is talk about the guitar I had before. I had a PRS Swamp Ash Special. It was the first model of that guitar. Had two humbuckers and a single coil rail pickup in the middle, McCarty pickups, the humbuckers were, and it was a good guitar. If you want to see that, just go on my website. It's the first image there, and like I said, it was a good guitar, but the problem I had with it was that frequency-wise, it was a little flat, a little lifeless, and Swamp Ash is one of those woods that is not consistent from guitar to guitar. So on my guitar, it would suck a little bit of the upper mids, causing me to get lost in the mix when I played out with people. But I think the most important aspect was how it felt, the feel of it. And about 2 years ago, I started really getting more into technical stuff, and I found that the PRS neck was just too thick. It would kind of strain my wrist a little bit, and it felt like I was hitting a wall trying to play that guitar. So after a while, I really thought long and hard about it. I realized, even though it was my first really nice over the $1,000 range guitar, it was time to look for something else. So I started kind of looking around at other players that I like to see, you know, what kind of guitars they were using, and people like Andy Wood, of course Guthrie Govan, that's everyone's favorite big name there, Tom Quayle, Alex Hutchings, so on and so forth. I was just looking at like what guitars they were using for the techniques that I wanted to learn, and for most of them it was Suhr, back then when Guthrie was using it and Tom Quayle was using it. So I looked around at a few different websites to see if there were any Suhr dealers around me, and I went to the Music Zoo here in New York, Roslyn, New York, and as soon as I walked in there, it was just, my God, all these high-end boutique-y guitars, and even like high-end Fenders and Gibsons, and just seeing all these amazing instruments, I had to try everyone. I didn't want to be closed-minded and just go Suhr, Suhr, Suhr. So I went in there with my PRS, thinking to either trade it in or see what they could do for me. And I tried Erasmus, which is a sub-company of Suhr. It's a more affordable kind of Suhr. It was okay. It wasn't bad. And then I tried a Suhr Classic. Again, it sounded really nice, but the neck was not my cup of tea. I didn't really like the neck. So afterwards, kept looking around, kept messing around with all these other different brands, and nothing was really jumping out at me to go, that's the one, until I ran into this baby here, my Suhr Standard, and it looked different. back then. It was different looking back then. With that, I played it. It felt like, honestly, the best way I can compare the neck, which is, I'll get into the specs in a little bit, it just feels like if Ibanez and Fender had a love child, but raised it right and sent it to college. You know, it was really comfortable, but it didn't lose too much tone or anything like that. Like, you get, with fatter necks, you get a little bit more beefier of a tone, but I didn't feel I lost that with the slimmer neck. So, you know, the guitar was a little different back then, so let me just go through the specs of this guitar. So, to begin with, we have hip shot locking tuners. These are really nice. They feel good to tune. Mahogany neck. You can see that. Mahogany neck. Indian rosewood fingerboard. Stainless steel frets. It's a compound radius. It goes from 10 to 14. What all that really means is that it contours to your hand as you're moving up and up and up and up. And then when you get up to above the 12th fret and stuff, it doesn't choke out any notes because there's no space. It doesn't feel like your fingers can't get in there, so it's really nice. Have alder body, root beer drip finish, pardon me. It's a nice color, sexy color. So, before I got the mods, it was a single coil here in the neck. It's a single coil. It was an ML. This is an ML as well, SSV Plus. These two pickups were standard. But I realized that even though the guitar sounded really, really good with the single coil, it wasn't my cup of tea. I've been a humbucker guy for a really, really long time, even though most of my first guitars were single coil guitars, but I generally like single coils when they're like blended in with another pickup. So, thinking long and hard about it, I decided I didn't want the single coil neck, so what I did was contacted Suhr, sent him a little email, and I said, hey, I need some mods, can we do stuff? And they said, sure, no problem, and we talked about the specs. So, what's going on here now is that we have an SSV neck pickup. It has a coil tap in there. So it runs from series to parallel. What that means is that when the pickup is in series, I don't know if you guys know this, don't want to patronize you, but when it's in series, one coil feeds it to the next coil, and it goes to your output. But in parallel, one coil, and then that coil goes to the output. So it's like having a fatter single coil sound without the humming that comes, the 60 cycle hum that comes, which I really don't like, especially being in New York where the power is just not clean most places, and being on stage just zzz and humming, it's not sexy. It's not cool. So that's the main thing that I did, but the guitar had to be routed and had a new pick guard for it. I also got the blower switch, the infamous blower switch here. I really like this switch. I found that in rehearsals and sessions that I work the amp pretty hard. I use tube amp gain, and I clean up with the volume knob mostly. I found that I do a lot of pickup switching for different sounds from funk, blues, jazz, etc., etc. And that sometimes when I need like a lead sound, if my volume knob is down a bit, and I don't know, I'm playing, I don't know, something funky, and I need to get like a big solo or a lead riff or something like that, just click the blower switch and ignores all this setup here, takes the bridge humbucker straight out to the amp, and it's a little bit brighter sounding, which I'm sure you'll hear or have heard on the demo depending on where I put this segment of the video. So that's pretty much it for my guitar. It's a really cool guitar. I'm really happy with it. It's very comfortable for me to play. I can play very quickly on it, very accurately on it. And yeah, if you ever get the opportunity to try a Suhr, try all different types of them because they have different neck profiles. And you know, if you ever get a Suhr and it's not exactly 100% how you want it, but you really like the guitar and you don't want to drop too much more cash on it or something like that, talk to Suhr. You can send it over to them and they'll hook you up. Alright, so thanks for watching.